Good evening and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and I hang out with all of you. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, and the Tier 2 emote, the blue emote. If you are currently a subscriber, reply with those emotes. That would be great. Or you could just use other people's emotes. You could just say hi. You could be a lurker if you feel like lurking. That's also okay. We're in the intro portion of the stream where I wait for people to come in that didn't get the notification right away. Hello, Lashbrook. Also, is it a chance for me to say hi to people, which is nice, and for me to know who's here. Because the view number thing sometimes is very weird at the start of a stream. And it'll just be like, well, is that 5 people are watching, or is that like a bunch of bots are watching, or like somebody hasn't watched a stream and just kept a tab open since 2 days ago, or yesterday, I guess, is the last time I streamed. All that stuff. Lord Crashington's here saying, hey, Pat, hey to you. Welcome. We are currently at 36 subscribers. Now, Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Somebody subscribed and didn't hit the notification button before we started. Because sometime between when I tweeted, hey, I would love to get 5 gifted subs tonight, and then, and the reply to that going, or new or relapsed subscribers, sometime between then and now, somebody subscribed. So it could be, we'll see a notification there, whatever. But the goal is to get to 40. 40 is our golden number. That means that I'll get a payout. Now, I actually don't think I'm getting a payout right now, or this. John's here. John. I think I won't get a payout for July, but by pushing it, a better payout comes in the middle of September. So in a few days, I don't think I'll be getting a payout, which is okay. It happens. Oh, and we also just dropped back down to 35. I have no idea why that happened, but it did. We're now at 35 subscribers. I'm going to update that. One of the big reasons why I want to get to 40 is so that I don't constantly look at this and just go, oh, all right, well, there you go. So anyway, we're currently at 35 out of 40 subscribers. Would love to hit that big 4-0. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to, you want to give a sub to somebody in the community, you got options. That's okay. You want to join Aristofan on the gift sub leaderboard with 1 gifted sub. You could do that, but you don't have to. Thank you for being here. I guess I should say that. Hi. We're working on the Heavyarms Custom from Endless Waltz. This is a 2011 model kit that in 2016 they put new parts out. So in the 90s, they made a master grade of the Heavyarms, the original Heavyarms. And then a select few amounts of the Heavyarms Custom from Endless Waltz, the one that is shades of blue and teal, and that has even more guns and rockets and missile launchers. They put that out at limited numbers. And then in 2011, they reissued with like a new mold of the 90s Heavyarms. And then in 2016, they did this kit that I'm holding right here, because it's the 2016 kit, even though a lot of the parts are from 2011. In 2016, they were like, let's do the Heavyarms Master Grade in limited quantities and not in the United States. And then in 2022, Premium Bandai was like, hey, you can buy this kit. Now, is this a 2022 kit? No. Is the plastic from 2022 and it's just the molds they used in 2016/2011? Unclear. This could be a kit that sat in a box since 2016. I doubt it, but it's possible. But anyway, if you were like, oh, they revolutionized this kit, this is like a ground up retooling, like the high grades that have been coming out, the Heavyarms, the Shenlong, the Wing that came out. No, that's not what this is. The Shenlong hasn't come out yet. That's coming out. Reportedly, I will receive that kit in October. That's going to be a new kit that is not a premium kit. I'm pre-ordered that, but the Death Scythe that came out. So Death Scythe, Heavyarms, Shenlong is the next one. Will we see a Death Scythe Hell high grade? Probably, because we did see the Live Lance Heaven, which was from 2021 parts or 2022 parts of a Death Scythe Hell that hasn't come out yet. So there is a good chance there will be a Death Scythe Hell high grade, which would be nice. A new Death Scythe Hell high grade will be very cool. And I guess Sandrock will come out at one point. Oh, and also the Heavy Arms Custom, which is not this kit, which is the regular Heavy Arms with a double barrel gun. I have that pre-ordered from Premium Bandai. That's coming out this month in August. I'm going to get that shipped towards the end of August. The part separator on Gundam Planet still lists the part separator as being released in July. It's August. Haven't gotten it. Other websites now have that tool listed as just out because it's out in Japan. And some of you just buy it. So it didn't cost that much money. I just kind of want it because I want to test it out and tell people if I think it's good or not. It's not worth it to cancel my pre-order at this point because, again, it's not that expensive of an item, but I would just like it. I would also like that Gundam Planet to update their website to at least say August because right now it just still says July, and that's impossible. I can't get it in July because there's not a July anymore. Not until next year. So I guess maybe it's next July. But I also hope that's not the case. They got to wait a year. I don't know. But I am getting the Heavy Arms and the some grunts coming this month. September, I'm getting the Gundam Marine type, the Gundiver kit, which looks rad. It's actually July 2023. Yes, Lord Crashington. That would be a big bummer if that was the case. Especially, as I said, considering that there are kits that there are stores that you can just buy it. And again, it sucks that the best way to find an item is to just Google Gundam Planet and the item. But yeah, they're still saying pre-order, which is kind of wild. Coming July 2022. Pre-order. It's not July anymore. Goofs. Oof, yeah. Gotta read the front of it. No, it does say July 2022. Gundam Planet, like other sites where you can pre-order stuff, does have to be good about that. They do have to be good about, like, saying what year. Because sometimes they do get stuff. Well, like USA Gundam Store sometimes puts up pre-order pages for kits they haven't made a deal to acquire yet, just because they want you to pre-order from them. They want that money now, so they can use that money to buy kits to then sell other people, kits they can get. So they sometimes will put stuff up just going like Q4 because they don't know when it's going to release because it hasn't been announced release. But like there are pictures out there because Bandai has said we're making that. I tend to not pre-order that stuff. I tend to pre-order things that have like a month release mentioned. Even if it gets pushed, like the goddamn God Gundam, which still hasn't come out yet. It's been like, how many times has that been? Let me see if I can find that. Let me find the God Gundam page. I don't know how many times this thing has been pushed back. Let's see. Right now it says October 2022. We'll fucking see. I really want to build that real grade because the God Gundam rules, and and it comes with the like weird circle of energy behind it, like the rainbow circles, and it would be cool to build it. But I can't build it if I don't get it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I've been chatting way longer than I normally do before we get model kit building. So let's get model kit building. I'm gonna reply to my tweet, and then we'll go to the overhead. There we are on the overhead, and here's our progress. Our progress is we've built the chest, and the head and the shoulders on both of this, and you can see these pop up, and then there's also the side parts that pop out there too. Lots of fun. Oh, I can move over here. Great. Sorry. Sometimes it takes me a second to get centered. And then we did one arm. So right now we have a heavy arm, and we need to make it a heavy arms. So let's get building. We have completed... do you see the announcement of the Premium Bandai effects set for the God Gundam and also the re-release of the HD? I did not see that. I did not see that. Let me see. Let me check out Premium Bandai here. The horse? Are they re-releasing the goddamn horse? Funza guy? Okay, yeah, they got some add-ons in here. I can see that. The Robot Spirits was August 1st. I didn't see that from Premium Bandai. Let me go and check. We'll go check their website here. Sorry for doing this live, but I did not see the horse. I don't see the horse here. So, is that in pre-orders? Coming soon? That's pre-orders closing soon. Yeah, I don't see that. But the horse is great. The G Gundam horse. Oh, this is a God Gundam expansion. Yes. So I'm probably not getting that. Okay, here we go. So God Gundam. Okay, so it's okay. So that's what I was confused about. The link has been put in chat by Lashbrook. It's the expansion pack also comes with the horse because, as you remember, at a certain point he does ride that horse. So there is a expansion set for the real grade God Gundam, which again has been postponed a bunch. And then it also comes with the 144 scale, because of course the real grade is 144 scale, horse to ride. And of course this website says that the God Gundam is worldwide in August this month. So who knows? But Gundam, at the very least, Gundam Planet doesn't think they're getting it until October. But who knows? Maybe it'll actually come in there. I mean, this looks cool as hell. But I generally don't buy expansion packs. Now, this expansion pack that also includes a goddamn mechanical horse, you know, remember, this is a mobile suit horse piloted by a real horse. Come in September. I might have to look at that because it is again, as I just said, I must reiterate this. That's a horse that pilots a mobile suit. And so I might have to get that shit because it's a goddamn horse. You know what I mean? You know. Look, at this point, you know what I mean when I'm saying that. All right. We got to talk about some stuff. There's some things coming and happening right now. The news that means something to some people is the acquisition. I do worry it's the only release of Funasakai we get and no RG version. Oh yeah, we're not getting a real grade of that horse. That's probably like the old that could be a new mold of the horse, but it also might be an old mold of the horse with just new plastic. And it looks better than the high grade horse though. I mean, it does look better than, because I built that a couple years ago. It does look better than that, but I'm not holding my breath for a real grade horse. I'm not holding my breath for anything. So in anime acquisitions, let me just get you up to here, right? So a few years ago, Sony bought Funimation, right? Funimation and Crunchyroll's partnership ended where they were sharing libraries, which was very cool and very helpful for a lot of people. So that all went away. And then very recently, Sony bought Crunchyroll and merged Crunchyroll and Funimation, keeping the Crunchyroll name as the primary name and kind of sunsetting Funimation in general, which is a shame because of Funimation's vast history of being in the industry. But, you know, the belief was internationally, you're better off going with the Crunchyroll brand. Not that I agree with it, but that's not my call, obviously, so I'm not here to say they shouldn't have done that. Then, of course, High Dive had partnered with Crunchyroll through for a while there through Verve. If you logged into Verve, then you could access High Dive's library of stuff. Well, that went away because, of course, it did. All right, I got to make sure I am gonna do this right. I don't remember which way this goes. This is gonna be. This goes here. That goes there. So this is the beginning. I think it's this way. I did mess this up before, so we'll, if I screw this up again, we can fix it. I do know how to fix this if I mess it up. So I think this is right. Yeah, I think this is going to be the way it goes. All right, so we can combine these parts here with a polycap that I got to put on. Look at me, almost screwing up that. And then the bar line is on this side. Great. Okay, so we know all about that, right? High Dive got purchased by AMC, so High Dive is split off. They are a competitor. And then, of course, you've got anime through Netflix, and you've got anime through Disney Plus. But primarily, your anime is on Crunchyroll, which is now Crunchyroll and Funimation, but mostly just Crunchyroll. Some old stuff is being dubbed. There's some new dubs coming out from some older Funimation stuff that didn't have dubs before, some Crunchyroll stuff that didn't have dubs before, which is nice. Like Given, which for the most part, that dub is fantastic, except they made a very interesting choice. So that's about a band, and there's a song. They're a band that doesn't have lyrics, but then there's one day where the lyrics he's been working on, our main dude, who's kind of quiet but has a good singing voice, presents these lyrics, and it's this beautifully sad song, and everyone's just like, what the fuck am I watching right now? In awe. They're psyched about it. And it's goddamn beautiful. So they didn't do an English dub of that song, even though the voice actor for the dub kind of made a name for himself besides other dubs as covering those songs for his YouTube, which is possibly how he got the job. So that's not weird, right? That happens before. You don't redo the song through sometimes licensing, sometimes agreements. With that, depending on what record label is attached to the Japanese studio, all that stuff kind of comes in, and it's complicated. I'm not trying to say they fucked up on this. But what is weird about it is they made the choice in Given to have it be the original song and then have voiceover in English, which makes sense, of the character at some point talking and thinking, which is also in the, that makes sense. But they didn't include subtitles of the lyrics of the song. And I understand, in a dub, you wouldn't expect to find subtitles. So instead, you just have this English-speaking character singing in Japanese for some reason, and you don't know what he's singing about unless you've watched the subtitled version. And it's a weird choice. I guess if there was a Blu-ray, you could add in English subtitles to the scene, and that would probably be the best way to watch it. But it's weird. It's a weird choice. Otherwise, great dub. And also, a queer cast of voice actors for a queer anime is fucking pretty much goddamn unprecedented and beautiful. And so I'm very happy about that that Given has that. That rules. That fucking kicks so much ass. It's just fucking great. And then let's see, we got to do the gray ones here. Okay, so that's kind of backstory about what's going on. To now actually say, hey, here's a thing that's happening that's weird that we should talk about, which is a new acquisition from Crunchyroll. They have acquired Right Stuff. That's stuff with one F. Which you may know from Facebook posts recommended for you of t-shirts from anime, and you're like, yeah, I'd probably buy that, but you don't click through because you're like, is this licensed? What is this website? It was, and you could have bought from them. Now, what does this mean? Well, if you bought adult stuff from Right Stuff, you're like, I click through on that website and buy all my anime statues. There you go. Well, speaking of anime statues, if the anime statues you were interested in picking up were of an adult nature or for an adult audience, and you were going to pre-order them from this company, from Right Stuff, well, there's a new company spinning up. Buy Anime is going to be their like. Buy Anime is like their website, and then their sub brand is going to be like Eero Anime or something to that effect. I forget the exact name, my apologies, but Buy Anime is going to be like their legit name. They are people that have partnered in the past with Right Stuff. I would not be surprised if some of the employees are former or about to be former Right Stuff employees, because that's how businesses work in many instances, that people kind of go off on their own to start a new company, because Crunchyroll can't, as a brand that is owned by Sony, Crunchyroll can't be out here making sure you get your erotic statues. They just can't do that, and it makes sense. Now, I don't know how much of Right Stuff's business was adult-oriented, so it can't be a lot, because there's no, otherwise you're just acquiring the name. But here's the thing, other than the fact that Right Stuff is like, we are not going to facilitate all your horny statues, we got a new company that will take care of you for that. Besides that, the thing that's kind of fucking interesting to me about this is, that's the only thing that's different right now. And you're like, well, Pat, that sounds great that that's the only thing that's been different. But wouldn't you expect something to be different? Like, hey, Crunchyroll has acquired Right Stuff. And now, people that have, their buyers program, their frequent buyers program, get a discount on Crunchyroll merchandise from Crunchyroll store. Or we've integrated. We are now fulfilling all of Crunchyroll's store stuff. Or if you are a premium, if you have the most expensive plan through Crunchyroll, then you don't have to, then you get a discount in the store. Or if you've, whatever. None of that shit is there. And their FAQ is like, hey, we don't have any of that. Stay tuned for details. And it's like, what did Crunchyroll buy? Did they buy licenses that they would like to have in their store? Did they buy a distribution network that's better than the Crunchyroll? Like, they're trying to get out of whatever partnership they have with whoever does their fulfillment? It's one of those things where I'm like, what is this? Is it just Right Stuff had the releases in, had a library of some stuff that Crunchyroll was like, we want these things. And it's easier to, instead of scooping them out from under them, it's just easier to purchase the company? Or maybe Right Stuff was like, wow, Sony bought Crunchyroll. I wonder if they would buy us. That would be great for us, because fuck if we can figure this shit out right now. I don't know. I don't have those answers. But it's a lot of questions, and as always, it's bad for business, especially Right Stuff was doing some streaming stuff. They were doing some distribution stuff that theoretically they were going to continue to do, but all of that is in the air and weird and worrisome. I think worrisome is a fine word to say there. So yeah, it feels like the only exit plan that the only plan they had in place was, hey, immediately you can't sell this shit. I don't know Dirty. I don't know if they. Here's the thing. I didn't pay a lot of attention to right stuff, because the only Japanese things that I am interested in purchasing and pre-ordering are model kits, and that's not them. So like I don't have statues. The only action figures I have are action figure model kits. In storage, I have a couple model kits, like that I keep for funsies. But traditionally, I don't keep any of that shit because I've never really been interested in that. I do like action figures. I used to collect a lot of action figures, but I got out of it because I like building model kits, and so I, build model kits. I gotta find this finger 16. So yeah, it's wait. Where'd that finger go? Did I already pull that finger out? It says X116, XB16. That's what I need. So I don't know. As I said, it's more just like. Oops. It's worrisome. Oh, they weren't. Okay. Says thank you, Lashbrook. It's worrisome when companies are put in this position of like. Consolidation, the only way, the way out. Now, like I said, I don't know what happened here. It could be that the people behind it were like, oh, thank fucking God. Thank God. Our dream has been realized. We sold. We can continue. We're getting funds. We are not a separate entity. We are just underneath the banner of Crunchyroll right now. Thank God. Oh, thank God. It was this or a hedge fund. Instead, we went with technically Sony owns us. Cool. I don't know. As again, I'm not a mind reader. I don't have that information ahead of me. But it is consistently worrisome that we are constantly dealing with this stuff. And it is constantly just like, well, who knows if this thing you like is going to be there tomorrow. So, I guess if you import stuff from Japan from a small company, be worried that Crunchyroll might buy them. I get. Also, like, Crunchyroll has the Gundam license for like clothing, and I'm always just wondering, like, when are they gonna buy a big model kit distributor? Like, when are they just gonna like? When's Crunchyroll just gonna like be like, instead of us dealing with Bandai, what if we just bought a company that does that? And then we just have that company. I've always wondered if and when they were going to do that. And it might be an indication of where they're going. But, it's like right before Crunchyroll Expo, which is like just a weird time. I did see somebody that I know who works for Crunchyroll a little freaked out about just life in general. And I was like, oh no. All right. I want to talk to you a bit about my week. I didn't talk too much about, doesn't Bandai own the only Gundams? So they own Bluefin, which is like their big distributor. But I'm saying like, I wasn't talking about like, what if they bought that? I'm talking about like, what if Crunchyroll bought Gundam Planet? Or Big Bad Toy Store. What if they just bought their own, like, distribution, Crunchyroll bought, like, Tokyo Jungle and just had, like, their own, like, retail business to facilitate model kits who have relationships with Bandai. Instead of, like, yeah, I'm not saying that they would, like, buy Bluefin or whatever. Oh, hey, thank you for the follow, the Vamp25. Appreciate that. Welcome to the old Build With Baer. I appreciate hitting the follow button. That's nice. We are done with the top part of our kit. It's now time to move on to the waist. We're going to build the waist, and then we're going to build the legs. But we're gonna start with the waist here. We'll have some stickers coming up, and we'll need this piece here. Because we're building a waist. We're not jumping to the feet or the legs. We're jumping to the waist. because that's how this kit rolls. So we'll get into that. So yeah, this week, my mother's birthday was on Tuesday, which was nice. And I cooked dinner for the family. Simple, very easy. Chicken, rice, vegetable, nice and easy. Did the old shake and bake breaded chicken, because that is a favorite in this house. And we had it, and it was easy. So that was nice. Did some chicken. Happy to do that. Got that out. Let's see. Wednesday, we went out to dinner to celebrate my mother's birthday with some other friends. So you may have noticed last night, maybe, I hopefully didn't make it seem real obvious, but I was full of veal parmesan last night. Holy shit, it was goddamn good. Incredibly good veal parmesan. Not the best veal parmesan I've ever had, but like a good amount of it. You know what I mean? Like, here's how I'll describe it. So I needed a knife. You couldn't just like cut into it with a fork, so it wasn't the most tender that I've ever had, but it tasted very good. And it was a good time. So that was last night. Tomorrow night it is. Hey, my mom is a very intelligent woman. She decided years ago that she and my dad would get married the same week as her birthday, so that my dad just had to remember that the beginning of August is my wife's birthday and our anniversary. So Friday is my parents' anniversary. And I am making dinner again, but it's just going to be fun hors d'oeuvres. It's going to be appetizer dinner because my mom is going out and having a large lunch that day. So she was like, "Oh, I don't really want to cook and I don't really eat, but I want to celebrate our anniversary." And so we'll just do that. And I was like, and I'll prepare them. I'll make all of the pizza bagels. And I believe we're doing mini, what do you call it? I got egg rolls. I believe we're doing egg rolls and that, and then maybe cheese and crackers. But it's going to be good. It'll be a good time. But that was my thing, was like, I'll prepare those, and then I get to indulge in that and have pizza bagels, mini pizza bagels, because as the saying goes, when pizza's on a bagel, you can have pizza that was prepared by me, Pat Baer. That's how the saying goes. I don't know if you knew that, but that's the actual song. The commercial is a parody of that song. Reworking. The original song was, when pizza's on a bagel, you can have pizza prepared by Pat Baer. That's the original lyrics of that. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't had pizza bagels in a while. I could just buy them. I know I could just buy them, but I haven't. So that's been cooking and eating out with Pat. Did I eat all my veal last night? Yes, I did. Did I eat all the pasta that came with it, even if it was angel hair, which is not my favorite? Yes, I did. Did I go back after I was done with dinner, whatever was left of the fresh bread that was there, because they had oil on the table? And yes, I also went back and finished off some more bread. It was real good. It was very good. Let's see. Other things going on with me. It's Thursday. I don't have a lot. In the second hour, we will talk about some anime. I am now caught up with one of the two, because I've been a week behind on Call of the Night and the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. I am now caught up on the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, so I'll talk about both episodes tonight, including the one, because I've been talking about this show and how it's like my favorite show of the season, and just like really wholesome and great. And someone was like, "Yeah, but what about episode 4? What happened there?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know," because I hadn't watched episode 4. I still recommend this show, but let me just say right now, episode 4 of the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, fucking weird. A very odd show. It felt like a different show. It was strange. All right, we need J, D, and C here. Pay attention to the part orientation after assembling. All right. So we need C and D. So this is C2. So we need C1 and D12. Great. That's C16. And then we need J. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. Oops. I do dislike when these things happen here sometimes, where these are kind of like pegged together, and then you just gotta hope they don't separate. But sometimes they do. Whatever. It'll be fine. I'll just put that back in the J spot. J1. The last of our light blue here. Let's see. Okay, so I can talk about this. You may know this. I've talked about this on stream. I am going to New York at the end of this month. Basically, I leave on Friday, the 26th, and I get back on the 29th. So I'm only there a few days. There on the weekend. Saturday, August 27th. TBD, to be determined if I stream that night. I have not made the decision if I am doing that yet or not. I would like to stream that day, but I won't know really until that Friday when I find out if the Wi-Fi is good or not. So if the Wi-Fi is good, then I'll stream the next day. But the Wi-Fi isn't good at the Airbnb I'm staying at, then I will not stream there, and instead you will just have to go without. So I tweeted about this. My reasons for going are have a couple meetings because I would like to get back to NYC in a better capacity and move there and do things while I'm up there. In order to do that, I need to live there. So I am going to talk to some people about some work opportunities, see what's up. A couple theaters opened, and I want to go check out those theaters and see what's going on. See if there's room for me there or interest in having me come in. I might do a performance or two. I'm still chatting about that, seeing if there is an interest in having me do that. If I can get booked on a show or two, do some improv, that would be nice. Host a stand-up show, something like that. Just like whatever. See what's going on. That would be fun. I want to go to my storage unit. I want to get all of the League of Heels stuff out of there because it's been sitting in storage. I want to get that. If not to have it for use in the future, because who knows what may come in the future. But also, I want to use the Raspberry Pi that I had there for something else here. I have a Raspberry Pi in storage, and I would like to have that for whatever. I'm not sure what it would be. Probably to use as a Pi hole or something. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that, but I would like to have that. So that's the thing right now. I'm like, okay, so these are things I'd like to do. Now, a thing, and also see friends, right? See some friends. Now, a way I could see some friends and do something cool that I had not originally thought about, but has come up in conversation as a thing I could do. We know you just want to rock around the house with the belt. Yes, I do want to have the belt. And then the Vamp asks, "Hi Pat, do you panel on your gunplay?" Yes, I do. I have some markers right here. You can actually so the words at the top of the screen here, the white gray and the blue black, are a reminder to myself about what colors I am using, and so you can kind of follow along. So there's not a lot of white on this kit, but the legs are going to have a lot of white. So the legs, I'm definitely going to be panel lining. This is a lot of dark here, so I haven't done much panel lining. You might be able to see, if I really zoom in, you might be able to see, pardon my fingers, that I've done a little panel lining on there, but not much. We'll kind of pull back here. There, too far. We went too far. There, that's good. So there's not a lot of panel line to do on this kit, but I do panel line. It's just because of the dark colors, it's not gonna really shine on this particular kit. But I do like panel lining. I do the quick and dirty method of just hitting it with a marker and then running a eraser over. So like this part here, I could hit with that. It's not gonna show up too much because it's a very dark blue, but I can still do it, and it might pop a little bit. And yeah, it's a last because yes, I do want to just have that belt because I do like having that belt. Now, there is another reason why I am going to New York, which I did not originally plan on it being a reason, but it was announced last night that the main event for a wrestling show that I am interested in attending from House of Glory Wrestling involves Eddie Kingston. And I pretty much need to go to that show. I have not seen Eddie wrestle in person in years. It's been a few years since even before the pandemic. Haven't been to a wrestling show since early in 2020. But also, Marufuji is going to wrestle him. And that's somebody that Eddie Kingston wants to wrestle. And so I want to be there for that. Fatu is also going to wrestle Brody King. And that sounds fucking great. Malachi Black versus Low-Ki, I'm not super interested in. What's his name? Killer Cross is wrestling somebody, and that didn't sound... I was like, it's not really something I'm super interested in. But, like, Buddy Matthews is apparently also going to be there. The whole House of Black, or all of the gentlemen in House of Black are going to be there. So... It's at Terminal 5, which is a venue I like to watch wrestling in. And right now, general admission are $30 and fourth row are $40. So I am currently in a a group DM with some New York wrestling friends, trying to decide if, like, I'm gonna buy a general admission ticket. I'm gonna go, but I did want to be like, hey, does anyone else I know also want to go to this? Do we want to sit in the front, the fourth row? They're like $40. Is this something we want to do? So, as I said, I have reached out to some people, New Yorkers who I know like wrestling, that maybe would want to go to a wrestling show, and it would be a chance for them to see me, because otherwise I don't know if we're going to find the time to see each other. So, I guess I might go to a wrestling show when I'm in New York, which I was not expecting. I was expecting to only be going to comedy shows. It's also a Sunday night, which is good because there is comedy on a Sunday, but I didn't necessarily have plans for that night. So, why not go to a wrestling show? As I said, if they don't want to go, I'm just going to go by myself, and just be a general admission and then be like, that also might be a thing of like, hey, if anybody wants to hang out or like want to say hi, this is the event to go say hi to me at. I'm not doing like a New York meetup or anything, but I'll make it known that I'm going to be at that event, and then if people want to show up at that event, say hi, they could. So that's the plans right now. Was not expecting to go to a wrestling show when I went up to New York, but also, fuck if I don't want to see Eddie Kingston wrestle someone he really wants to wrestle in the main event of a show. I'm going to do it. Also, I don't know much about this promotion other than their name is not my favorite. House of Glory is wrestling. I like these, like, oh, House of Glory. Like, that's one of those things you're like, it's kind of like Ring of Honor. Okay. But then when you really think about it, you go, House of Glory. That's Hog. Come on down to Hog Wrestling. It's not even Hoss. It's Hog. So that's not... They should have thought about that, and I guess either they didn't think about that, or they decided it was okay. And I don't know if that's the correct response. I feel like they should have done a little bit more of due diligence on that one, because Hog is it's just bad. Oh yeah, we're Hog Wrestling. Our champion is Charles Mason. And look, you might go, Pat, is Charles Mason, is that like a Charles Manson character? Yes. I believe that character, their champion, is like not in kayfabe is a murderer. Not in real life. I don't believe, but in kayfabe, their champion, everyone knows, is a murderer, and I'm like, all right, sure. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna go see some wrestling in New York when I'm up there. I'm also, like I said, I'm gonna try to do a comedy show or two. I'm gonna see some people. The main reason is to go for meetings while I'm in a storage unit. Not only am I gonna get some of my shit out of storage that is League of Heels related, I'm also going to get some shirts that I have not worn since I moved here, and I'm excited about having those shirts and trading out. So I'll be taking some shirts with me in my suitcase and bringing back others. Also, I got extra leg room on my Delta flight up. Excited about that. That's just cool. That's just gonna be good. All right, so how do these pop in? That. Sorry, I gotta figure out how these pop together. It doesn't really give a good indication of where this goes. I'm looking at the back of this, and it's got a little peg and a tiny little slot there. So I'd assume it would go here. But it doesn't. So then if I turn it around, will that work? I've definitely done this before, but on a high grade version of this kit. So that might be why I'm like, why isn't this working? It just says it pushes forward. Again, let me make sure these are the right keys, because I've done that before. F13. All right. I've done that before where I've really struggled and I'm like, why isn't this working? And it's because I have the wrong piece and I'm just trying to like make it happen with a piece that just doesn't work. That's been fun when I've done that. Maybe it's like this. I'm just doing it wrong. That is what it was. Hooray! I was doing it on the wrong side. It's this side. That's what it was. I had these backwards. That was my problem all along. I was just fucking doing it wrong. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? When you just fucking do something very wrong and you're like, oh yeah, great job, Pat. You're nailing it. All right. Let's see. So that's 7 and 8. Okay. Let's see. Other things I can talk about. We'll do some quick hits. We'll talk more about what you're playing and what you're into later in the stream, so don't tell me now. But I'll tell you this. The new stage for Hitman 3 is a prequel. It's set before the events of Hitman 3. And it really does feel like something they were not planning on releasing and just released. Because it was kind of a surprise. Like, people are waiting for this, like, open world, not open world, but, like, weird, like, random kind of roguelike, like, home base thing that they're going to be doing. People are waiting for that with the old Hitman. So I don't think people were really, like, waiting for, like, a new area. And it's not great. There's not a lot of story, and it makes sense there's not a lot of story because it is like an add-on thing. But I was expecting like I was expecting like 47 to like interact with people more than he does and like do more things. I just got the part of the Beastcast where Beastcast, haha. Nextlander podcast, wrong name, Pat. Years wrong on that one. I have just gotten to the part of the Nextlander podcast where Alex is talking about it, so I don't know his thoughts on Hitman, or this Hitman. But yeah, my general take on it was this feels weird to put out. Like, it feels odd. So if you are a completionist, if you are a diehard, if you can't get enough of Agent 47, you probably have already checked this out. But if you were on the fence, if you were like, oh, I like 3, but I don't know, 2's better, and oh, I don't know, I kind of lost track of what's going on with it. You might not need to do this shit. Yeah, it just feels a little empty, which isn't super surprising considering, but I did hope for more, is what I will say. So yeah, that is kind of my feeling on that. We are going to put stickers on these in a bit here, so we'll do that right now. Let's see. Now they have an email address. I keep expecting them to say Giant Bomb instead. Yeah, so I got a little bit okay with that because of Brad with the Tech Pod. Although Will often says it a lot, but Brad saying, podcast at Tech Pod, or content.town, that has made it easier for me to be like, yes, okay, that Brad is talking about this thing. Cool. Like, then to hear him say, the Next Lander email address, I'm like less weirded out by that. These are all the 5s. These are all the same. But yeah, look, you can slip. It's okay to slip. I slipped. It's totally all right. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes you may be like, wait, does that person work for that company now? I forgot about that. It's okay. Let's see. I'll also really quickly just say, watch my VOD of Bear and Breakfast here on Twitch, or you can watch the archive on YouTube that I put up on my YouTube VODs. My quick thoughts on Bear and Breakfast are, I like the writing. I think it was charming. I enjoyed walking around in that world and interacting and like doing a little problem solving. I didn't necessarily like the idea of running a bed and breakfast, which it seems to be part of the core of it. And the idea that there might be expansions to other buildings, and like, I assume eventually you build other places and have and you're jumping between the different bed and breakfasts. Just, yeah, I think what seemed to be the loop presenting itself, I was like, no, I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I like that it exists. It is cute, but I think I like the adventuring more than I liked the management. And I know it must get even more convoluted and even more busy and all that. And the idea of that, like, getting like there to be more to do, I was just like, oh no, I'm probably okay. I think I'm probably okay. So that was disappointing. I wanted that to be great, and I think it's good. But other people might be completely and totally enamored with that, and like that might be their jam and exactly what they want. And for those people, I hope you're loving it, but I didn't love it. I don't know if I'll go back to it. I might go back to it, but I'm like kind of worried I won't, which is a shame. Anyway, we're going to do a pause for the cause. It's just about 10 p.m. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel if you are so inclined. All the things I'm going to be talking about here are optional. None of these things are things you have to do. But if you would like to, that would be rad, and I would love it. We are currently at 35 subscribers. The goal is to hit 40. If you would like to become a subscriber, now is the best time to do it. If you are currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote. If you're a tier 2 subscriber, you have the blue emote. You can throw that on there. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here. There are other ways, but that is indeed the easiest way through your lovely cash money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you can use that. Jam is here. Welcome, Jam. You can use that token for me. You could gift a sub. Aristophan is the top of our gift sub leaderboard there with one gift. If you want to gift a sub to somebody in the community, you could do that right now. that would be rad. Also, Bits and Coins, always appreciate if you want to join that leaderboard there. All these things, again, are optional. It's just subscribing is the easiest way. It means that I can continue to do what I do here, and I do appreciate anyone that at any point is like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. There are other ways to support me, though, financially, if you're so inclined. Like, you can go to my Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear. There's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. Different rewards for the different tiers. Take a look, see if there's something there that interests you. If you are on the $3, $5, or $10 tier, then you can vote on what I do next Wednesday. That's right. Once a month, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons vote on what I do. Right now, with a score of 2 votes, Jackbox Party Pack 8 is winning against Karaoke, just me finding YouTube karaoke songs, and another stream where I watch old wrestling. Will I do one of those other 2 sometime this month? Probably. There's 5 Wednesdays this month, so I probably will also do karaoke or watching old wrestling, or maybe even both. But next week, you decide what I do if you're the $3, $5, or $10 patron. Also, I might. Yeah, so look at that. Just another Spicy throwing the emotes in there. Thank you very much, Spicy. Let's see. Other things that I can say about this are, so Patreon's another way to support what I do. Appreciate that if you're thinking of that. I have a YouTube channel. Subscribing to my YouTube is free, and that would be great if you did. But also, while you're there, if you wanted to, you could become a member. $2 a month, and you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So every Tuesday I send out the video that I have recorded for Wednesday out early to members over there, and that's $2 a month. And everything that comes in through YouTube, which also includes AdSense, Patreon, and Twitch, all goes into a fund which lets me buy model kits. Earlier this year, in February, I pre-ordered the Heavyarms, and I would not have been able to pre-order this kit without your generous support. Also, those are all monthly ways to support me. If you're just like, I can't do that, Pat, but every once in a while I can throw you a couple dollars. Well, check it out. Here are a list of ways that you could do that through Coffee and PayPal and Stream Elements. Those are ways. And if you do through Coffee or Stream Elements, it'll pop up. And I'll be like, oh, cool, I just saw that. Everyone saw. That doesn't work for PayPal. So those are various ways to pay me with cash monies. But also, I'm working on this kit, and I've got a bunch of stuff to work on next. My backlog's actually pretty good right now. But you could say, hey, Pat, wait on that backlog. Instead, build this thing by buying something off my Amazon wish list, which I'll be looking at in just a moment here. I've got Lego sets, inexpensive kits, very expensive kits, a Pokemon kit in there, various Lego things, the Rising Gundam plastic model kit, which is the original Gundam, G Gundam kits. They are non-graded kits. They are small and stubby and rely on lots of stickers, and they are weird little kits. But the Rising Gundam, I like picking those up. I just picked up one for myself. I put this on the wish list. You could buy that. Some mobile suits that are inexpensive. Some mobile suits that are pretty damn expensive. Some that just look gorgeous and are cool looking. But yeah, anything you buy from there jumps the queue. I buy it early, including the Heavyarms Endless Waltz Engel unit, which is a premium Bandai thing that I didn't pick up because I just did not have the money at the time. Now it is very, very expensive, and it looks completely and utterly ridiculous. That's on the list there. And then some gear at the bottom, because it's always nice to have some gear. Some things that would be helpful for me if they were purchased off the wish list that you could buy there if you are so interested. And again, anything you buy there, it jumps the queue, because that's the least I could do is to build it sooner. Also, you could go to my Throne wish list, because it's nice to have an alternative to Amazon. That's a more curated list. Like if you wanted to buy me like a stand for model kits, or some of the other kits that are in there, some smaller kits, that's on that list. And then USA Gundam Store. I don't have anything to do with USA Gundam Store, not sponsored or anything like that. But you could buy a gift card there and then send me a DM on Twitter with the gift card code. And that's like supporting me through USA Gundam, through Amazon or Throne, but it's not the actual wish list. It's just like, hey, here's some money for a store that you already buy from anyway, Pat. And you can make a recommendation like, hey, I saw this was out this year alone. Someone sent me some money to pick up a Hello Kitty kit that they saw was on sale at USA Gundam store. So I picked that up, which was nice of them to think of me. I have a Discord. That's free. You don't have to spend any money to join my Discord. You can just do that. It's a nice little community. I post build photos. People post stuff they're working on. It's fun. Come on in. You're welcome there. Let's see. Other things. I have some videos you could check out. Pat Bear's Anime Club is a every other week series. Jeez, my words are getting away from me. Pardon me. Pat Bear's Anime Club. I pick a topic, discuss it. This is weird manga. Like, hey, did you know that there's an isekai about Yamcha? And it's not canon, but it is official. Because it was released and it was on Shonen Jump's digital. And it's a 3-chapter or 4-chapter, I think. It's like, what if a person that really liked Dragon Ball Z was reincarnated as Yamcha? With all the knowledge they have of what happens in Dragon Ball. That's a weird premise for a manga. And that's one of the 5 manga I talk about. And I talk more in detail about that. So check that video out if you haven't already. I think it's really fun. And Do You Remembaer is an ongoing video series where every week I find a topic somewhere on an article on the internet, Wikipedia generally, and kind of break down that topic, try to remember everything I can from what I read, and then explain it in hopefully entertaining and educational manner. And this time I talked about barring out, which is a practice that happened in Britain and then a little bit here in the Americas, where around Lent, students would just declare that the headmaster couldn't come in, and they would do everything in their physical power to keep the headmaster from entering, and they would accept punishment if the headmaster broke in within 3 days. And that doesn't happen anymore because it shouldn't, and probably never should have. It's weird. But I talked about barring out, which is different from wilding out, but is also still pretty good. All right, we're going to talk about some anime, and we'll get back into model kit building. But first things first, I have to drink some water, and then we'll get into some anime discussion. But first, I'm going to drink a little water, and we'll dramatically transition back to the overhead. Here we go. All right, we have dramatically transitioned. We are now here in the overhead, and we are now continuing our kit. And I'm going to talk to you about anime. First things first, Call of the Night. Remember, this is on High Dive. This is an anime about a young boy that or a teen boy that doesn't understand his place in the world, doesn't know what he wants to be doing with his life, doesn't know what everything feels weird. He decides he's going to stop going to school for a while, and instead is going to sneak out of the house and enjoy the night. And the very first time he goes out, he meets a vampire, which is real weird. Yamori is a weird dude that meets Nazuna. Now, an important thing that happens that is important for this episode to remember is the belief that if you fall in love with a vampire and then that vampire sucks your blood, you will become a vampire. That is the reasoning in this world. That is why she can suck his blood without worrying about him becoming a vampire, because you have to fall in love with the vampire first for it to be a thing. So, basically, Yamori witnesses a couple kissing, and he's just like, I feel like I'm probably in love with Nazuna anyway, this vampire. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm in love with her. Like, that checks out. Like, I'm not quite sure I know what love is, because I did previously reject the girl that wanted to go out with me, because I was like, I have no concept of what being in a relationship is or what love is. But like, I'm pretty sure I'm in love with this vampire. So yeah, all right. I think I'm gonna go talk to her, and then like she'll suck my blood, and then I'll be a vampire, which I have decided is the thing I want to do. Um, so he lets her suck his blood, and then he's like, "Hey, I didn't become a vampire," and she's just like, "Well, I'm not. I don't want to say particularly that I understand this, but I'm pretty sure you're not in love with me. You're just you just you've mistaken lust and believed it to be love, and so that's embarrassing. Um, which is also like what people do. Uh, anyway, uh, apparently the kiss that they shared in the previous episode, that was both of theirs first kiss ever. Which is interesting for a vampire to not have kissed. But yeah, neither of them kissed. That's embarrassing. But Nizuna's just like, ha 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 ha. Well, I'm pretty sure friends kiss, so it's not a big deal, and it's not an indication of intimacy. So I think we're both cool. She's like, all right, sure. Anyway, Yamori invites Akira to hang out over at the vampires. Akira is the girl that like basically she's just like, hey, you stopped coming to school. That's hey, come back to school. I'm worried about you. And now she's also worried about, and they have like a promise, and maybe she has feelings for him, but also she's like fairly concerned about the vampire. Just the whole vampire thing, like just the whole thing about there being a vampire. Anyway, the three of them hang out and play video games, and then like Nizuna's like, hey, I'll kiss whoever wins because I'm trying to show that kissing is not a big deal and we shouldn't be concerned about this. Ha ha ha. So I'll kiss the winner. Ha ha ha. And then Akira's just like, hey, don't fall in love with a vampire. That sounds bad. And then Nizuna's like, you don't have to worry about it. This dude doesn't like me. He's just horny. He's just a horny teen. And then all three of them end up sleeping over. And the voice of not my favorite character in the show, but the voice of reason in this, Akira is just like, hey, this is weird. We're all sharing a bed, and one of us is a vampire, and also there's this boy. What's going on? Anyway, they're kind of like this. Basically, they describe what the relationship is, how it's beneficial. Like he's exploring the night, she's getting her the blood that she needs. He's hopeful that he can fall in love with her and turn into a vampire, and she's just like, okay, I also hate this. And he's Akira. It should be said, does say, hey, even if you do turn into a vampire, I won't. We'll still be friends. But like, it would be great if you would come to school. And I just think she needs to cut her losses because she is being a good supportive friend, but at a certain point, you just gotta say, no, this is bad news. This boy wants to become a vampire. You gotta get out of there. Like, he doesn't deserve you. Like, just, you gotta cut your losses and move on and try to find some people that actually are gonna, be supportive and all that. Because I don't know if it's gonna be this fucking dude. Anyway, I'm not super into this plot and the plot beats right now. But, holy shit, this anime is still goddamn gorgeous. Call of the Night might be the most beautiful show this season. In my opinion, my personal opinion, this show's got the goddamn goods. It is just goddamn gorgeous. The blues and purples are just so beautiful. It's clear that A lot of money was spent on understanding what the night is and what the night should look like. And yeah, it's really great. So I recommend, at least for the visuals, if you end up with a 14-day trial of High Dive or whatever, you should take a look. I skipped ahead. They want you to put this whole thing together at the end, but I want to put the legs and I want to put the waist on now. So I've skipped ahead to working on the connector torso here, which you normally would do the very last thing. But I don't want to have like the top of this kit and then like the waist, and then we start working on the feet, which is next. So instead, I've jumped to this. The backpack, it will now be like the last thing we build on this, and then we got to build the guns. The very last thing in this kit is all the big old guns. Got to get those big old guns on. So we'll get that going here. We can do a little panel lining on this. Okay, now I have 2 episodes to talk to you about Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. And again, episode 4. My overall thought on episode 4 is it feels like an episode was written by different writers. Like it was, like, what is this episode? It is barely about the girl. It is mostly about Kirishima, but it also is about like other bullshit that has nothing to do with what's happening in the show. It is definitely not about like, it's a little tonal whiplash because the last episode was the young lady, the young miss, Yaika, like finally having the courage to go to the hospital where her comatose mother is and like talk to her and like present a photo or a drawing that she did of all of them, and like it's beautiful and sweet and touching. And then this episode's like, hey, our Yakuza family needs more money because people, like, business is down. The boss is like, hey, we need social media. We need you to make videos for social media about how the Yakuza rules so that the Yakuza will become more popular. Like, I don't understand if it's like you'll get more protection money that way, or like people like will want to join. I don't understand the end game in this scenario, and it is explained, but not in a way that I'm like, got it. What the fuck is happening in this episode? Because they're struggling to make money because changes in society. And also blow up on social media, but also don't have the other Yakuza families find out you're doing this because it'll make us look bad that we're struggling with money. So it's just like, hey, my number one guy who beats people up, but also is in charge of my daughter's safety, makes social media videos about how the Yakuza rules. I don't understand. I do not understand at all. Anyway, so now we get one of only 2 scenes with Yaika where Yaika's like, oh, Kirishima's upset about doing this because he's like, this doesn't make any sense. He like me is like, what are we even talking about? What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? So they make some videos under a pseudonym, or a stage name named Team Cherry, and it's like, it basically it appeals to be like, here are things that the Yakuza does, but they try to be like funny with it. You know how like sometimes on TikTok you'll have like nurses doing a silly dance and then trying to tell you important information, but they're doing a silly dance so they appeal to kids. It's like, it's not that dissimilar from that kind of bullshit. But anyway, they're like scared that they're going to get caught and people are going to know who they really are. So they make a video where they're like, hey, we made it all up. We're not Yakuza. We're just some guys and we apologize. But also, in a thing that has never happened before, in the most stretch of reality, beyond the idea that a stone cold killer is now a babysitter for the Yakuza's boss's daughter, everyone really appreciates and enjoys the apology. and it makes them even more famous because they are like, oh, these are great actors. They're like pretending to be Yakuza, and they're like very entertaining. So they end up kind of becoming idols. And so they're making like appearances and stuff, and like they meet royalty, and like they just become like sensations. Like they're just like a big deal. And Yaika's bummed because like she can't hang out with the dude that has appeared in her life to look out for her. That's like been really good to her. And then he has a nightmare about like not being able to be with her because he's going to become a pop star. And he's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. And there's no like resolution. Like, I don't know if they made more money. I don't know if everything worked out. He's just like, nope, I'm not going to do it anymore. And I'm like, so again, that was a weird episode. Chap asked, Pat, is your kit green? So no, this is a dark blue kit here. The lighting might actually be technically better here, maybe, but I don't know. This is dark blue, and teal, some teal highlights, and there is some, I guess. So I will say this: there is some green. There's a little bit of green. I would say it's more dark blue than green, but there is some green in it. Because this is the Heavy Arms Endless Waltz version from the movie/OVA of Endless Waltz, which is, the top lighting makes the panels look green, says John. Yeah, it certainly does. I did try to white balance this again. I have not done a particularly fantastic job in my this lighting. But again, there is some green. If I take this here, like, this is green here. And then, let's see, where is it? There we go. Yeah, here we go. This is like dark blue. So there is a difference between the, maybe I'll do that. That'll be good. So try to shuffle around here. This is a good indication. So, I have the same kit in my bag. Like, oh, nice. Yeah. You're just checking. Yeah. So you can see, hopefully you can tell that these are two different colors. This is dark, very dark blue, almost black. And this is like a green there, a dark green, but a green. And so we do have two colors there. And then the more teal stickers as the highlights, although that is also plastic. Thought maybe this was some super rare custom. No, this is the Heavy Arms Endless Waltz version, which is a more darker tone. But yeah, my overhead lighting is still not perfect. I have attempted to white balance it properly, but it's not perfect. Because I used to have the same brand of webcam for my shot and the overhead. Now I'm using a very nice camcorder as my overhead, which allows me to digitally zoom way closer because I can get like fucking in there way more than I used to. I used to not be able to do this. Hey, good morning to you, Firestar Man. Happy to have you here. Yeah, I used to never be able to get this close on a webcam, but now I have a digital camera, but the colors are not perfect. So from this one, maybe you can see that there is a difference here between this color and that color there. There is somewhat of a difference, and then this color and then there. So it is a two-tone. Chap, most master grades, so some master grades do have that. Now this is, the thing you have to remember about this kit is, this kit is originally from the late 90s that was then reissued in 2011. Hey, we just got some gifted subs. Thank you so much for gifting 5 community subs. I appreciate this so much, Firestar Man. Enjoy it Wednesday, and Cowboy Scott, and Arstenata, and Stevie Bats. Hi, Stevie Bats. And Just Jess. Thank you so much for that. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat in the chat. And thank Firestar Man for those gifted subs. And I can take our subs numbers down because we have now indeed hit. I don't need that there. There we go. We gotta go closer. There we go. We have now indeed hit our goal of 40 subscribers, which rules. Thank you so much. All right, we're working on the legs here. Yeah. So some master grades do have finger articulation. Some real grades have that. Most real grades have that, and some perfect grades. This is an old master grade. If it was like a 2020 master grade, you might have finger articulations. Firestar Man says, "Whoops, I forgot someone." Let's see. Doing 6. So yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so you do have some fingers on some kits, but not every kit is gonna have that. But some of them certainly do. All right. We're gonna talk about episode. I think we'll talk about episode 5 of Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting next week. I think we'll just do that. I wrote it down, but we'll let that live for another episode. Of that. I think we'll wait on that and not talk about that tonight. So that concludes the anime I was talking about. Again, episode 4 of Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting was weird. It was a weird episode. So hopefully it will be... I just hope the next episode is a little more... Or it is. The next episode is more about babysitting. It's still about our main character, but it is also more about babysitting. I did not realize the kit was so old. So, did we get any quality of life changes? So, okay. So, in 2011, the biggest difference between a 2011 kit and a late 90s kit, because this again, so I should explain. The original kit came out somewhere in the late 90s, very limited run. The Heavyarms Master Grade came out pretty regularly in the late 90s. This version, the upgraded version for Endless Waltz, came out in very small numbers, was not readily available. There was a high grade version that was out everywhere, but the master grade version, because in that time, that was a kind of experiment. They did 1/100 scale high grades, big high grades, which was fun. There we go. Forgot the sub when I said I forgot someone. There you go. Sub for yourself. Thank you so much, Firestar Man. I appreciate that. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe the Moat in the chat. Thank you very much. For subscribing. Appreciate that very much. And we'll hit the old applause there. Thank you for giving those subs. So, but like I said, this version, very hard to find. In 2011, they reissued the Master Grade, 100 scale Master Grade of the Heavyarms. They put it out again, which was great. The book was new. This instruction manual was new, more English in it, which they had started moving towards in the mid 2000s, which is nice for international folks. Certainly, not necessarily required, but certainly nice. We appreciate it. Certainly. So that started happening, and then there were some changes that were good. There were some changes that were solid. Now, the real cool shit happened in 2016, where this kit came back out. In 2016, they reissued this very kit. So they updated the booklet. This booklet is nice to read. And the big quote-unquote innovation is, instead of these pieces right here are stickers, this piece right here, this right here, this spot right here, and this spot right there, that's plastic. That is plastic stuck in there and not a sticker, which is what you would want all of these to be, but isn't, and I understand that. That was nice. So there were a few quality of life improvements, but it basically does still feel like all of the kits that I built in the 90s. It wasn't like restored. Again, in 2016, they released this kit in very limited numbers, and it was not an international release. This year, in 2022, early in February, Premium Bandai put it up for pre-order. And again, I can't tell you if this is exactly a kit from 2016 or if they just used the molds from 2016, because I keep all the molds and for the plastic injection and just did a new release. But it's not like an updated version. If you buy the high-grade Universal Century kits, it's not the Universal Century. If you buy the high-grade kits of the Heavy Arms that came out last year, that's a new mold. That Heavy Arms is great. That's a high-grade Heavy Arms that just came out. That is new. The new Death Sight that came out, the Shenlong high-grade that's coming out this year, those are brand new. This kit feels older. It feels, it definitely feels like this is a model from the 90s. Also, I should also point out that in 2011, a thing they did was the polycaps are better. So this is still a 2010 polycap sheet, but these polycaps fit way way more snug. That's better to say. They fit way more snug than polycaps from the late 90s. So this does not have like floppy arms. Like if I do that, it doesn't flop back down. You would find that in the 90s on master grades even of this era. You would definitely have some kits that like didn't stand up to any kind of like scrutiny, that really couldn't handle posing. These legs could still be a little rough. We'll have a stand for this kit because I do have a stand for master grades off camera that I don't need yet. So we will have a stand for it. But right now it is like a little... Oops, what am I doing here? I didn't put this all together. It is a little like... It's not loose. It's sturdy, which is good because there have been plenty of instances of that not being the case. As always, friends, you got mine, so I'm assuming it's the Premium Bandai version. Yes, you probably either got that or like maybe from a reseller that resold it, because like sometimes that is the only way to get it, right? Like not everyone's going to pre-order from Premium Bandai. Also, there are plenty of countries in the world where you can't do that. So then you're like, find it on a store by somebody who bought as many copies that they could and then is selling them. I have definitely done that in the past. Or sometimes I'll just like remind myself that eventually I want to buy that kit the next time if it goes up again on Premium Bandai. Like the some of the grunt kits from Wing that I'm getting this month. I didn't buy them the first time they went up. All right, so I need C1. Go here. Here's C1. So we're working on the feet. We jump down to the feet, and then we'll build up. All right, now's the part of the stream where I find out from you. What are you playing? What are you watching? What are you into right now? What's got you going? What media? There are any video games you're checking out? I'll say, new expansion from Hearthstone. I don't hate this new expansion from Hearthstone. There's not like, I don't have a brand new deck that I'm loving. I think there are two new mechanics that I'm not disliking, but I'm not super into. Infuse is kind of fine, but it's not necessarily my playstyle. Infuse just means a card in your hand. If minions on your board die, and a certain number of them die, you're infusing power into a card, and then that card can do some stuff. So if you're top decking that card, it's not great. So it's almost like you want to have a dead card in your hand for a few turns, because then it'll do something cool. And I'm not super into that, but I don't dislike it. I just don't particularly like it. And the other mechanic is, it's basically like, I forget the name of it, but it's kind of like having lands. It's just like, oh yeah, all right, well now I have this thing that I'm placing down. Sorry, hold on. There's more to this leg that I'm not understanding. Yes, okay. So it's kind of like you have what do I want to call this? You have these cards you play, and then you can later you can then later just like activate them. They're a little bit like lands in Magic the Gathering, but not really. But it's kind of fun because there's no way to remove them. from your opponent. Like your opponent can't remove them, so you just have them. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not super thrilled with Hearthstone at the moment. Again, it's just because I don't have a great deck. There are some evolve cards, so I haven't had the time to do it. I might do it tomorrow. Evaluate my Hearthstone, my Shaman evolve deck, because there's a legendary that if you were going to transform the card, like evolve the card, instead you just summon that minion, so you keep your minion on the board. It's like getting an extra body on the board, and I'm like, that's really interesting. So I'm definitely going to include that in my decks. So there's a couple things, but Infuse doesn't feel like it works in that deck because you don't really want your minions to die. You want to have more minions. You want to have a bunch of minions so that you can evolve them. So it feels like that is that is not the right deck for what I'm trying to do here. Howdy, Pat and Chess, says Bald Ridge. Hope everything's good with y'all. Well, I appreciate you being here, Bald Ridge. Thanks for coming in and thanks for saying hi. John says there's a fun game running in early access period called Trombone Champ if you like music games. Otherwise, more the Fire Emblem halfway through Zeta. Nice. Getting some Gundam in. I'm going to find out about Trombone Champ because I don't know what that is. And that sounds fun. So I'm going to hit the old copy. And then I'm going to hit the old paste over here. Or Control V because Google Docs won't let me Control paste for some weird reason. So annoying. But yeah, what else are people playing? What are y'all up to right now? And video games you're checking out, I'd love to hear from you. Always like to know what you're up to. Again, Hitman 3, this new stage. Here's the thing. I wasn't expecting it, so I'm not like super bummed about it, but it's not like I wish there had been more effort put into it. I also really just want that new mode because I think that's like sounds fun and like, you know, you got your hideout and you're like upgrading your hideout and I was like, I don't know, there could be some fun there. But I'm not like, again, super enthused with the whole with the new location. It's just like there is a character who has been in other stages as a callback that I was like, that's fun. That's fun that this person's back. Okay. Okay, so Lashbrook has been watching Lycoris Recoil. A couple people I know have been checking that out. I haven't checked out that. But yeah, I've also heard some good stuff about it. I mean, I maybe should. Maybe for Monday, because Monday, I don't know. I mean, I do have 2 shows to talk about on Monday, but maybe I'll do that. I do eventually have to get caught up because I'm an episode behind on one of my Monday shows. So maybe I will get caught up on that. But yeah, I've been hearing good things about that. You've been playing Eastward on stream, says Ball Ridge. Really charming Earthbound looking game with real-time combat. Okay. I have heard the name Eastward, but I have not investigated. I've definitely heard people talk about it, but I have not made the time for it myself or investigated anything about it. John says, heard a lot about Lycoris Recoil. And then Dirty jumped in and played some Wildlands now in his Game Pass. Oh, nice. That's fun. I'm playing more Multiverses. Their season, they got a delay in Multiverses, and because it's a Warner Brothers thing, everyone was like, oh no, the game is going to get shelved. The game is going to get canceled. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but who the fuck knows? But Multiverses is fun. Are you a Bugs main? No, I'm a Batman main, and I'm a Shaggy main. I'm maining Batman and Shaggy, the characters I've played the whole time. Shaggy throws sandwiches. I'm into it. I like Shaggy. It's just fun to play as Batman. Zip around the map using the hook, the bat hook. That's just fun. It's just very enjoyable, and I'm sticking with it. All right, C1, C7. Okay, great. Wait, wrong Shaggy. Yes, no, different Shaggy. Yes, definitely a different Shaggy. One of the main characters basically. Oh, about I guess it's about the last book's talking about uh, uh, Lecorious Recoil. And one of the characters is basically Vash the Stampede. Okay, all right. I played one game and that was a Superman. Nice, yeah. Superman's in that game. It's it's weird. It's a good weird time. I hope that the voice actor who plays LeBron James got paid well, because everything I've been reading fucking stuff on that. I look it up or whatever. People want to talk about how LeBron James is in there, but they either don't know or don't want to talk about the fact that there's a there's a voice actor for people just like write like, oh yeah, and LeBron James is in the game. Weird, right? They got Game of Thrones with LeBron James in this game, and it's just like, say the part where there's a voice actor that someone is playing LeBron James in it, which makes it less weird and just as weird somehow. It like diffuses how weird it is, but then also is still weird. I don't know. It's a fun game. Multiverse is fun. We're getting Rumbleverse soon. Rumbleverse is very soon. I don't think Rumbleverse is the kind of game I want to stream. I've enjoyed my time with it. I think because you may have realized this. Hearthstone is one of the only like online competitive games that I stream. I generally stream adventure games or puzzle games or dating sims. Or like Jackbox, that kind of stuff. But I don't generally stream like games like that. Yeah, Halo. I always said you'll never see me play Hitman on stream because I'm bad at it. The main thing is that kind of concentration that's needed for those games. PUBG, right? When I played PUBG, I never streamed PUBG. I played a bunch. I'm barely good at those games when it has my entire focus. The idea that I would then be talking about those games while I'm doing it is just a thing that like, one, it isn't also, it's important. The main reason is I just don't think I would do a good job with it. I think I would be too distracted from just trying to play well or having a good time with it that I would lose focus and not be a fun host. The other reason why I don't want to do it is because there's a whole genre of games that are just for me and not for you. You know what I mean? Like you don't get Pat plays Hitman. You get Pat talks about Hitman some, but you don't get Pat plays Hitman. I think the closest to any of that, no, not competitive. Yeah, the competitive is probably Hearthstone. Because that is a game that I do enjoy playing and talking about. So I wouldn't be opposed to, I was never opposed to streaming that. But when it comes to like other games, I kind of just want to play them in the moment and not like have to worry about it. Speaking of dating sims, will you be playing the Dead by Daylight game? I don't like in the same way I didn't like the KFC one. Yeah, so that one, the vibes aren't right for that. It is in the same way that like I'm like, okay, so is this the people that made Dead by Daylight really wanted to make a dating sim, or is this an attempt to get clicks and viral marketing for your game by shitting on a genre that you think is beneath you? Because that sucks and fuck off. I haven't been able to tell what the Dead by Daylight dating game is, or if it's just like, hey, we thought of a fun way to kind of like get our name out there and promote our game by like a twist on a genre and like play into our own strengths and our own sense of humor. Like then okay, but I don't know. John asks, are those the same headphones you always had? I just noticed they were maybe Sony. Yes, these are Sony headphones. So, when I stopped using a headset microphone and switched to this microphone, I didn't need my headset mic. My old headphones were the one piece with the headset and all that. I had two different kinds. I had one where I could take the microphone off, and the last ones I had didn't have that. They were big cans. So then I got these. No, you just didn't notice. I don't know if you're unobservant. I don't want to say you just didn't notice exactly what kind of headphones I've been wearing. But yeah, it's these. It might be that the angle of my third monitor is such that I'm turning to it, and now you can see the name, whereas my angle was different before, and I could kind of see everything without turning my head. So that might be it. You'll see you're unobservant. Well, there you go. But yeah, I've had these since I switched to this microphone. I got this pair of headphones because I still like having big headphones. I don't want earbuds in. I mean, I could go with earbuds. And also, these are inexpensive and last for quite some time. I like these headphones. They're, $20 to $30, depending on where you get them and if you got a sale. And they work well. They're not great, but I'm also not listening to music in these headphones. These are the same kind of headphones that I would get when I worked in theaters, because they're easy to, they don't break particularly easy. They can take some punishment, but really they're just lightweight. You just throw them on, or you throw one ear on and you just do this, and you can, hear what's going on while you're listening and previewing something. So I just think they're good. Yes. Okay. Yeah. These don't fold down. I've had the ones that fold down, and I like them, especially for work. In tech booths, it was really nice having those. But yeah, these are comfortable, which is nice for 2 to 3 hours of streaming, depending. I mean, mostly 2 hours, but I also wear these when I'm on calls, like when I'm on Zooms and stuff. I'll put these on so that way I don't have any feedback with my microphone. When I had the headset microphone, I could kind of have my speakers going and it wasn't a big deal. But I don't want to do that if I'm on a Zoom call or something like that. So these are helpful for that. And they plug right into my speakers, which is nice. So I just do that. Your office headphones are lightweight over your ears, but didn't make my head hot. Yes, these do not make my head hot and jaunt. So that benefits me quite a bit, I will say. And also, if you get an older pair of these, they will come with the 1/4-inch adapter for plugging into stereo. Like, if you have your stereo unit, it comes with a little gold adapter. And I used to collect those because you never know when you're going to need one of them. Because most soundboards use the 1/4-inch. And for my line of work, sometimes you have to plug into a soundboard. Now, some soundboards do the 8-inch, your regular headphone jack, but some still have the 1/4-inch, so you need the adapter. Some old soundboards still did that, so it was nice having those little adapters. I have a collection of them. You don't have fancy audio equipment, probably great in your line of work. Yes, it was very good, because again, I didn't use them all the time, but sometimes I did use them, and it was nice to have them. All right, we have now completed all of the feet here. We got our body here. We got our waist done. We got some feet. This kit does have feet. We only have one sticker left, which rules, and that is the clown mask. We could put on the half mask on the kit and put the clown mask over it if we want to. That's the last step in this kit. We might build that mask and then decide if we're going to actually put it on. I don't know. I always think that's kind of silly, but it could look cool. I don't know if it does look cool, but it could look cool. All right, so we can build the ankles right now. That is a thing we could do right now. Just get our ankles together here. That'll probably be the last thing we do on the stream, is just get our ankles put together here. Yeah, if there's anything else you're playing right now, I do thank you for the recommendations about Trombone Champ and some anime there. I do like recommendations. I do like hearing what you're all are up to and into. I did play Fallout 4 a little bit tonight. I had 40 minutes before the stream started, and I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to start something, so I just loaded up because there were a couple mods. The Fallout 4 mod scene is, look, let's be real. Most of the Fallout 4 mod scene right now is people who are still making presets of attractive ladies that you could play as. that's the majority of what people are doing. But some people still are like making like areas, like new areas, or they're converting buildings into being player homes, or putting workshop support into areas and turning them into settlements. Like, people are still doing that work. It's not a lot of people. So I check every couple days and see what folks are up to. Or like people are like importing modern weapons into it, or importing okay, so it could be 20, no, wait, 19, or like creating, like, there was a project that's kind of stalled a little bit of like recreating areas of Fallout New Vegas in Fallout 4. That project is, yeah, again, not super like worked on heavily at the moment, but yeah, there's still people doing some stuff. Hell, there's still people making quests, like voice line quests in Fallout New Vegas, a game that I don't have installed right now, and I don't really want to. Now, are the people that are still making quests in Fallout New Vegas doing it pretty much only for the couple YouTubers that still cover mods for Fallout New Vegas? Probably. It's probably for just Al Chespeed, and like two other people. It's probably just for Al. Chest Breach, I should say. Al Chest Breach. It's probably just for a couple people, but they're still making them. So yeah, I played a little Fallout 4, just did a couple quests in one of my characters, and then like goofed around. I updated the billboards, and so I went to an area where there are a lot of billboards to go look at my new billboards, make sure everything looked good there. That's about it. I didn't really do much. Still a game that I enjoy goofing around with now and again. I don't goof in that often, but I do try to get now and again. Okay, so this is going to be... Which side does this go on? This is always fun when I'm like, I think it's this side. I think this is how it goes. Clean this up a little bit here. But yeah, if anybody else has anything you're playing or watching, if there's any, like, you know, if you got any anime, you got anything else that you're like, oh, Pat, this is the thing that I am super into right now. You got to hear all about, you know, this show. Let me know. I like hearing from you. Occasionally I forget and then remember suddenly that I have access to the West Coast feed of TBS and TNT if I need it through internet means. So because usually I miss some of Dynamite because I'm streaming on Wednesday. AEW Dynamite, should be clear. So I watched the West Coast feed and ended up watching like a match I already seen, which was good, tag match. Thunderstorm versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. It was good match. I was happy to watch it again. But I like that I get to watch like the West Coast feed after the stream and catch that. I don't know. It was fun to check that out and see what I missed because I don't want to give up streaming on Wednesdays just so I can watch a second hour of wrestling because I watch probably too much wrestling anyway. But I also like to see it, so that was fun to go check out the West Coast feed. I had that on and also was watching Ramona, a.k.a. Rara, a.k.a. Vectroid, a.k.a. Macintosh Plus, watching her stream as she slowly starts working on a 30-minute song for her new album. It's so much work that she's putting in, but she streams as she does it and takes breaks and does other stuff. Also, Rara is one of those people that like streams for like 18 hours and then sleeps for like 14 hours or something. And I don't understand how anyone works like that. Once I start going over 2 hours, I'm like, oh, I am bad at model kit building now. So I cannot and do not understand how anyone could possibly make that work. But I don't know. It works for her. She manages to get the shit done. So more power to her, but fucking yikes. All right, I did this upside down. Gotta say that was not a Dynamite for me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was some stuff I liked in it. It wasn't the best Dynamite they've ever had. I did like that the women's match was not at the same time that every fucking women's match was normally is. That they mixed that up. That was fun. I thought Jericho Yuta was fine. I didn't think it was great. I thought hey, Lashbrook, the dumpster match. I thought the dumpster match was pretty damn okay. I like they took Billy Gunn out immediately, so they didn't have to deal with Billy Gunn. I thought that was very smart and necessary. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Hey, why can't I get these to work? Why can't I get this to work? Great. All right, so we got that connected. Is this on right? Is this gotta go like that? All right, fine, whatever. I think I got this connected right. I can't tell. That's fun. I can't tell this ankle, how this ankle is supposed to look. I only got through the title sequence before I dropped. I decided to drop Dusk Falls. Didn't vibe with it. I understand. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you just don't vibe with that thing right off the bat. All right, I think that's how it's supposed to go. We'll connect one more of these, and then we'll call it quitsies here. Please pretend that you did not hear me say quitsies, because I don't know why I said quitsies. We'll call it quits. Anyway, there's our ankles. The ankles are done. That's going to do it for our stream. Thank you to everybody that came by tonight. Thanks for the folks that hung out. Thank you so much to Firestar Man for those fantastic gifted subs and for subscribing. Thank you to Wristfan, who also gifted a sub earlier, yesterday, I believe. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it very much. My next stream is going to be on Wednesday. No, sorry. What am I saying? My next stream is on Saturday. Why did I think today was Monday? That's bad. My next stream is on Saturday, and I'm going to work on the legs of this kit. Will we finish up on Saturday? No, because we have to build the legs and the backpack and the guns. We're finishing this kit on Monday, is my belief. I don't know what we're going to start when we're done, but we will be doing that. Saturday is going to be leg day, indeed. We are going to end tonight's stream with a raid. We always end with a raid. We're going to find someone who's doing something cool out there that we want to go give a little bit of love to. We'll see who's doing some stuff that we want to just like hang out and chill with them on a Thursday evening. We always end with a raid. All right, who is doing stuff that we want to go see what they're doing? Liz Star is playing Pikmin. The GameCube version of Pikmin. That rules. Okay, Liz Star is playing the GameCube version of Pikmin. And Liz is great. We're gonna go raid Liz Star. We haven't raided Liz in a while, so we'll go do that. Please, please, please come on this raid. I would love it if you did. Our next stream will be on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, as mentioned previously. Saturday, 9 p.m., we will be continuing this kit. We'll work on the legs and then maybe the backpack. And then Monday, we'll finish it up by building the guns. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great night. Please, if you just joined in, come in on this raid. It'll be fun. Liz rules, and you'll have a good time there. But either way, we are going to go on that raid and hang out and watch some Pikmin play. Some GameCube Pikmin play with a VTuber, Liz. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great night. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye.